Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, one and all. Welcome to another episode of Joe Blow Tarot, the show that has no tagline and has no other intro video. This is it. This is all you're getting, my friends. This is literally it. So today I want to do a tarot reading because it's a Monday, which means it's a happy Monday. I'm going to be that complete sunshine and rainbows, happy horseshit, happy Monday guy. It's happy Monday time. And because of that, we're going to do a reading which is going to take us into the energetic themes for us to explore this week. So unlike most tarot decks, the Joe Blow tarot deck is not a fortune-telling deck. So if you came here to find out if you're going to find love, if you're going to hit the lottery, if your mother-in-law is finally going to get off your ass, sorry, can't help you with that. However, what these cards will do is take you on a journey. Similar to that 24,000 cycle. Okay, we're getting really esoteric right now. We're going to leave that at the coat check. Similar to the cycle, people talk about the Kali Yuga, this, that, and the other. Basically, it's this. From expansion to contraction, back to expansion, back to contraction, the in-breath and the out-breath of the entire universe and your personal journey, all wrapped up in 3 cards we're going to draw today. So essentially, we're going to talk about the major theme that we're all working with. And if you're watching this, these cards are finding you because there's a major theme going on in your life that these cards are going to talk about. What we need to untie energetically within this theme. And then ultimately, what does the happy ending look like? I'm not talking about happy ending in a massage parlor in Queens, New York, right before a New York Mets game, even though it's oddly specific, and I probably shouldn't be talking about that on the air, but that's fine. We're going to be talking about a journey from a major theme through an energetic knot into your happy ending. So ultimately, friends, what is your week going to look like if you live in the energy of that happy ending? Let's find out. So the first card we're going to go through here, I'm going to do a little shuffle, is going to be from our Major Arcana deck. That's the big stuff deck. And I'm just going to load up the comments here. If anybody's here who wants to say hi, drop it in the comments, and I'm going to give you a custom reading in addition to the reading over here. And if you're on Team Replay, if you're not catching this live, say hello anyway. It's good for the algorithm. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Don't do any of that shit. Do whatever you want, my friend. Live your life. Live it to the best you possibly can. Okay, so the first card we're going to draw today, let's see what we got. This is a good one. We've got the colonoscopy prep day card. All right, my friends, we're drawing the colonoscopy prep day card over here. What does that card mean? Colonoscopy prep day. This is the major theme of cleansing. Anybody who's ever been through a colonoscopy prep can tell you it is not the most fun day you'll ever experience in life. But it's necessary, because in order for that scope to get on up there and do its thing and to find the polyps, and you got to clean out. You got to have a complete and total cleansing. So what is this card telling us? Friend, in your life this week, there is some area that you need a complete energetic cleansing of. In order to reach the happy ending of your life, the energetic state where you are operating at the optimal level of existence and vibration, you need to cleanse whatever crap is in there, whatever toxins are in there. You got to get rid of it. So think about this. What is backing you up right now in terms of stress, content consumption, toxic people? What are belief systems that are holding you back? What are the things that you need to cleanse? This is what we need to focus on this week. Cleansing, getting rid of it. And sometimes you got to drink that horrible formula to make it happen. My recommendation, watch Man in the High Castle as a binge during that day you're doing it. It was great in 2018. Probably going to be great again, even though today it may be a little bit too close on the nose, but what are you going to do? All right. So the next card we're going to draw is from our contrast deck. Now, this is going to be talking about the energetic knot that we need to untie, because we're not going to be able to fully cleanse from the vibration that we need to unless we untie this energetic knot that's stuck somewhere. So let's have a look and see what kind of knot is stuck. What kind of knot do we need to untie? You know those knots that you tie really tight in your shoes sometimes? You can't get in there and you got to use a knife to get in there sometimes, and you slice your finger off and you go to the ER and you're like, maybe there was a better way to do it than that. And you ever been there? No? I hope I'm not there either, but I'm sure somebody has. And if that person is you, I love you. And I'm hoping for the best. And I hope one day you get a new finger and it's the best finger you ever had. I do. I'm pulling for you. Okay. This is great. We have that bitch at work card. Okay, friends. So that bitch at work is the card about hostility. It's a card about rivalry. It's a card about enemies. It's a card about there's something out there right now. Now, this could be a person. This could be a belief. It could be an ideology. It could be a system, something that you are fundamentally at odds with right now, something that is hostile toward you and you are hostile toward them, because we all know the bitch at work has it out for you. And I hate to be the one to say it, but you know it. I know it. The American people know it. The Dutch people know it. The Indonesian people know it. Why am I just bringing up random Dutch colonies right now? The Surinamese people know it. We're just going to keep going with the Dutch colonies. They all know it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. The bitch at work has it out for you. But why? Because there's something energetically tied up within that bitch at work that she is spewing onto you. And you got to deal with it right now. So what this card is saying is that there may be a situation where somebody is openly hostile to you for no apparent reason, even though there's always a reason. Or you might be very hostile to somebody else. And in their mind, there's no apparent reason. But for you, there's certainly a reason. All this is saying is that this hostility towards something in your life, there's something hostile that is holding you back from cleansing the toxins you need to cleanse. So this is an invitation to take a look at where in your life are you having a conflict? Where in your life do you have a nemesis? Where in your life do you have something where you are entangled in some kind of hostility? And if that's the case, how do you untangle that knot of hostility? How do you walk away from the hostility? How do you give grace to either yourself, who feels that hostility towards somebody, or somebody else who feels that hostility toward you? You could be somebody who's even reading hate comments online and thinking, they don't even know me. Why do they hate me? If they knew me, they'd really have a good reason to hate me, but they just hate me anyway. Could be that, could be anything. Think about where it shows up in your life, because it shows up differently for everybody. But however it's showing up for you, understand that fundamentally, this is what's holding you back from the necessary cleanse to achieve the state of. And that's what we're going to find out with this next card from the Perfectian suit. And I want to say hello to my friend, Lori. Good to see you. I'm going to do a custom reading for you. Oh, man, what am I getting into? I don't know. Past experience relived. There's all kinds of fun stuff like that, Lori. All I know. And by the way, I love when Canadians show up to these things, because humor, H-U-M-O-U-R, like you just, this gratuitous you just pop it in there all the time. You and the Brits, like, and the Aussies and the Kiwis, you just put these U's in there. I don't know where they come from. You just pull them out of the sky. Are they just like floating up there, like a bird's just carrying a U, and you're like, ooh, I'll take that. And you just pop it into a word and it's a whole thing. I don't know. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to dig into this card that's going to say, what is the highest good for you this week? And how do we find that? So from the Perfectian suit, we are going to pull this one feels right. Okay. I love this card. The Mystic of Myrtle Beach. Friends, the Mystic of Myrtle Beach card is a wonderful card. This is a card about presence, pure, joyful presence. Let me tell you a little something about the Mystic of Myrtle Beach. If none of you have ever been to Myrtle Beach, it's essentially the East Coast version of Panama City, affectionately known as the Redneck Riviera. Rightfully so, might I add. And some people think it's an insult. It's not an insult. Because what do people think when they think of the Riviera, the French Riviera? This is a playground for the rich, for the famous, the well-heeled, the well-connected. The Redneck Riviera is saying, hey, we get a Riviera too, y'all. And we don't need to be rich, well-connected, none of that. The everyday person can go down and have their own Riviera. The everyday person can go down to Myrtle Beach and have the time of their life. And they can crack open cheap beer and they can smoke cigarettes on the beach, even though it's illegal. They don't care, whatever. They're having a great time. They are just enjoying the presence of just being with their friends, with their family, with the sharks, with everything else on Myrtle Beach. The $19.99 all-you-can-eat Calabash buffets, would not recommend. I'm just saying, you better be nearby a toilet if you are. I'm just saying. Okay. Myrtle Beach is a wonderful place where people can go and have a good time no matter what their budget looks like. And that is what the Mystic of Myrtle Beach is. This is the person right here. The Mystic of Myrtle Beach is less of a person and it is more of a state of being, because the Mystic of Myrtle Beach is simply being in his joy of saying, I'm having a great time, y'all. I don't need to be no French Riviera. The Mystic of Myrtle Beach is just in a state of presence saying, I am loving my life as it is. As it is. Period. End of story. So the question for us is, how do we get to a place this week? And I mean, starting now, we're not talking about like the Friday happy ending, another happy ending reference. That's weird. We're talking about how can you get into a state today, right now, where you, my friend, become the Mystic of Myrtle Beach. How do we do that? How do you become the Mystic of Myrtle Beach right now. Right now. So now we're going to reverse engineer the deck. So we've gone from the big idea through the knot to the expansion. Now we're going to go from the expansion back through the knot, back to the big idea, kind of like an hourglass situation. All right. So first and foremost, let's work backwards. The Mystic of Myrtle Beach, French, this is presence. This is joyful presence. So what I want you to do this week to embody this card is step into every aspect of your life, look around and just say, you know what? This is exactly where it's supposed to be. This is exactly where I am supposed to be. These are the people who I'm supposed to be with. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, even if it doesn't feel like you should. The hell with the shoulds. The shoulds don't come from you. They come from other people. You don't need shoulds. You need your own presence. You need to step into being the Mystic of Myrtle Beach and realize you are right where you got to be. And you're just good. And you're just good. And you know what that does? That dissolves this right here. That tells the bitch at work she can't hurt you. She can't hurt you. She can't undermine you. She can't destroy you. Because hostility only thrives on a state of energetic imbalance. If you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're unhappy, you don't have enough of this, you don't have enough of that, you don't have the promotion you think you're deserving, and you don't have this at work, and you don't have all these different things, and you don't have the position within your family you think that you have earned. This is where the hostility comes in from the bitch at work. This could be a relative, it could be an in-law, it could be anybody. But they're going to keep poking you and doing all that only because you feel like you don't have enough. You don't feel like you are right where you're supposed to be. But if you step into your power and you vibrate and radiate out, hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm down in Myrtle Beach. I got 18 beers deep. I'm all happy right now. I guarantee it. She can't hurt you. And because of that, guess what? That opens your energy now. That opens your energy. You don't have the knots anymore. And when you don't have the knots, you untie the knots. Guess what flows out? All these toxins, baby. Once you untie the knots in that digestive tract of yours, all the stuff starts flowing out. Colonoscopy prep day. You get to a point now where once you can cleanse the hostility from that bitch at work, you can start cleansing the hostility from everything in your life. Everything can start flowing out. But it has to begin with presence. It must begin with presence. Ooh. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. Well, let's dig deep. Lori, I'm with you. Let's dig deep. Okay. Don't waste too much time on the shore. A lot of people say that, and I agree with that. Now, here's why. Because everything in the universe is about balance, about yin and yang, right? It's all about balance. Some say yin and yang. I don't like those people. Yin and yang, whatever. But in the spirit of yin and yang, I kind of like those people. See? Balance, balance. It's like a black and white cookie. If you're ever in New York, anybody, go get yourself one of those sugar black and white cookies. It is an entire universe in one cookie. I cannot recommend it highly enough. I truly can't. I truly can't. I really can't. So when we're thinking about the shore, we're thinking the shore and the ocean. They work together to form the beach experience. Now, if you're only on the shore or you're only in the ocean, you're not getting the whole experience. And the Mystic of Myrtle Beach is not having full presence there. But if you can understand that interplay, it's the shore washing against the sand, which creates the experience that makes you want to go to the beach to begin with. Because listen, you don't want to be floating out there the entire time. You might get seasick and you might yak on the person next to you. And again, if the person next to you happens to be that bitch at work, by all means, yak all over her. But if it's just, if it's a spouse, a friend, you don't want to do that. Right? Ideally, not really. So think about how you can lean into the presence of saying, I'm right where I got to be. Now, here's the fun part. The Mystic of Myrtle Beach is right where the mystic wants to be. Right where the mystic wants to be. Just hanging out over there looking to at the shore. I got the water. I got my hotel. I got my 18-pack. I got my friends. I got my couch that I brought to the beach. That's a thing down there, by the way. It's awesome. If you haven't seen it, it's a spectacle. I got my couch on the beach. Friends, what does your couch on the beach today look like? What couch are you bringing to your beach? That's against every rule, code, regulation, county ordinance. What couch are you bringing to your beach right now? It's an important question. Now, Lori, I want to ask you something. What theme do you want clarity on today? We're going to do a live reading for you right here. So I want you to put it in the comments, or anybody else who's watching. You want a custom reading too. I want you to put into the comments a theme that you want clarity around this week. And we're going to do a custom reading for you. We're going to take you through all these cards. And we're going to see how it's speaking to you right now. So while you're doing that, friends, I want to encourage you to do one thing this week, which is really, really, really going to help you identify that mystic spirit. Think about something you have in your life right now. that you didn't have once upon a time, that maybe you thought you'd never have, or you always wanted, and you finally got it. And it may seem like no big deal to you right now, because maybe you've had it for a while, and maybe you've gotten used to it, and it's no big deal. It is what it is. And for me, being able to do stuff like this, I used to be one of those people who was stuck making cold calls all day long, 80, 100, 120. Now, frankly, toward the end, well, I won't tell you how I got fired from that job, but I got fired intentionally, and I'm very glad that I did. But it was something that I thought I would never leave. It was like a prison I never thought I would escape, ever. I never thought I would have my time be my time. I never thought that day would come. It was incomprehensible to me back in those days. And as I do this today, I'm sitting in this, just basking in this happiness and gratitude that I get to do this for you, that I get to just read these cards and just screw around and have fun doing this. I love this. I love this. Truly. I never thought it was possible. I'm living my mystic life today, my mystic of Myrtle Beach life. Now, was it my Myrtle Beach this week? Hell no, too cold. But one day I'll come back and I'll live the mystic life down there too. Think about what type of mystic or Myrtle Beach life you're living right now in your life. A lot of people call it gratitude. Fine. I don't use that word a lot because it turns a lot of people off, especially the cynical types. Like, oh, what am I grateful for? Blah, 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 blah. Cool. I ain't judging. I get it. I've been there. I know. But if there's something in your life this week that is a staple of your life that wasn't once upon a time and you thought never would, but is today, lean into that and swim around in the energy of that, friend. You swim around in that and don't get eaten by the sharks. I'm just saying. Wear lavender. They don't like that. At least I think they don't. For your sake, I hope they don't. Okay. So Lori's already living the mystic of Myrtle Beach life. Look at this. Refusal to let other comments rattle. See, this is somebody who stands in their power. Lori's not going to be unmoored. Lori's not going to be moved by the comments and the opinions of a bunch of haters out there. Not a chance. Living the love she holds within. That's power, my friends. That's power. And I want to dig into that with a reading. All right. So if you're up for that, Lori, I want to do a reading for you. I want to do a reading talking about how do you continue to live inside of that love that you hold. All right. We're going to dig into this right now. So the major theme, the major theme around that we're going to explore to help amplify it. Let's see what we got. Once again, these cards are not meant to be taken literally. The finding out you have the clap card. Now, once again, this is not a character assassination. Lori, don't lawyer up on me. This is not an insinuation of anything of that kind. So what this card is here, the finding out you have the clap card is all about accountability. Now, this means everything that you've been doing in your life, the actions that you've put out are now coming back to you in some way. This could be good, bad, ugly, whatever. In the case of finding out you have the clap, literally ain't so great. At the time anyway, you know what I mean? When you have that conversation, doctor says, look, here's the best new antibiotics. It's not the greatest conversation. However, it can be a catalyst for change. So like all things, yin, yang, there's whatever. What the card really is saying, though, the overarching theme is that now is the season of the harvest. Everything that you have planted in your life energetically is now coming back in the harvest. So if you planted good things, if you planted good deeds, if you planted good words, actions, thoughts, vibrations, that's coming back around to you, which means, Lori, good times are coming your way, my friend. That's what it means for you. Now, how do you get through whatever knot might be holding you down to truly experience that? Now, we're gonna dig into that with the next card over here. I'm gonna play around with this a little bit. I feel like this is gonna be a good one for you. It's just a good sense that I have. Just got a sense. Okay. Okay. So we have the boomer who can't turn on a computer card. Okay. So here's the thing. The boomer who can't turn on a computer card is all about technology and how you use technology to advance, or how technology holds you back and keeps you stuck. Now, I don't know your relationship to technology, Lori. I don't. But I do know this. Wherever this energetic harvest is coming for you, technology is going to help you get there. So maybe this means when you write something new, you put a new book out there, there'll be a new technological medium to get it to a larger, broader audience. And the knot that you have to untie is, how do you master this tech in order to do it? Maybe it could be an ad platform, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to do next, when this energetic harvest comes your way, It's asking you to explore technology as something you need to move past. Like whatever energetic knot is stuck in this technical thing, you got to find a way through it to get to your ultimate highest good, which is, and we're going to dig in here, the guy who beats himself at chess card. Okay, so I love this card. I really do. The guy who beats himself at chess. Lori, this card is about being totally happy in your own company. This is not saying to be a hermit, to isolate yourself, which I did the last couple of months, and I got to be honest with you, it was awesome. Highly recommend. Anybody who wants to do it, so fun. But it doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means you have to be happy in your own company. And that is going to be your highest good and your highest joy. It's like, you know what? I love the people around me, but I am so freaking happy in my own company that everything else is just gravy. That's what it's leading you to, that state of energetic bliss, just being with yourself, whatever that looks like. Because we know the guy who beats himself at chess. We've seen this guy in the park. We know this dude. We do. This guy's great. Sits over there and the pigeons are coming and shitting on the chessboard. It's a great time. He's moving the pieces around. It's a whole thing. We know that this guy's having the greatest time because everyone around is looking at this guy saying, this is great. I wish I could do that. I'd feel weird playing chess by myself in the park. I'd feel weird going to a diner and eating alone. I'd feel weird going to a movie alone. People feel weird like this. But what this card is saying is your highest good will come from the timeline where you are just so happy in your own company, you don't give a good damn about whoever is with you. It doesn't mean you're cold, callous, or isolated. It just means just happy being you. And when you're happy being you, everything gets reverse engineered. You say, you know what? I'm happy being with me because I know that I am intelligent. I am competent. I can do whatever I want. I can figure out anything, including the tech issue that is tripping you up. You're good in your own company. You don't need to call tech support. You can figure this out. You can figure this out. By doing that, the harvest comes your way. The harvest comes your way. It's a beautiful thing. We are not on good terms. I hope it doesn't mean you and me. Lori, we've always been on good terms. I'd hate to see that relationship disintegrate. Lynn, welcome, my friend. We'll do a reading for you next. So you have long been able to solo joy. That sounds like a name of like a great Chinese restaurant menu item, like solo joy. I don't know. I want to order the solo joy right now for lunch. Maybe it's like some kind of a variation of a beef lo mein or something, but I don't know. Solo joy just sounds like amazing. Doesn't it? Doesn't it sound good? Anybody? Bueller? No? Okay. All right. So Lynn, we're going to do a reading for you this week. All right. The first thing we're going to do is find what is the major theme that you're working through right now. Because I feel like I got a good beat on this. I don't know. I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right, Lynn, what do we got? Okay. Once again, coming back to the GI stuff over here. It's not a fetish I have for like creating GI cards. It just came through me. And anyway, so we have the lactose intolerance card. Okay, this is really an interesting card here. So this is the major theme, Lynn, for you this week. It's lactose intolerance. And once again, it is not a literal card. Okay, so a lot of folks, they work on this and they think, it's lactose intolerance, but I do have lactose intolerance. Sometimes it's right on the nose, but sometimes it's metaphorical, more often than not. In this case, the lactose intolerance card is entirely about consumption. So here's the one thing about the lactose intolerant individual. They're going to have a bowl of ice cream at a social event, and they're going to be having a great time knowing damn well they shouldn't be eating that ice cream as they're eating it. They know they shouldn't. They know this. They're going to go to the Italian restaurant. They're going to have something with a lot of heavy cream in it. And they're going to be eating it and enjoying it and smiling. And then it ain't going to be good. We know what comes next, folks. It ain't good. It ain't good. This is the card that says, what are you consuming? Lynn, this is talking to you right now. What are you consuming in your life that is unhealthy for you? Now, this could be the opinions of others. This could be stuff you read on social media. This could be stuff you're reading on the news. This could be opinions from your friends, family, this, that, and the other. What this is saying is be very discerning about what you intake. Because if you're intaking things that are not healthy for you, again, this could be comparison thoughts, all these different things are not sitting well with you, and they're creating this distress. What the lactose intolerance card is saying is be very, very, very discerning about what you're taking in. Because ultimately what you're taking in is how you're going to feel and what your energetic state is going to be. So let's explore the thing that will help you work through that. So a lot of times we take in things that are not good for us, but we're doing it unconsciously because we're just kind of on autopilot. And the reason we're on autopilot and we're not dialed into our own higher wisdom is because we're not high. And no, it's because we're stuck somewhere. We have an energetic knot. So let's find out what this knot is and how do we untie it. Okay. So we have the nice guy on the apps. The nice guy on the apps card. So, ladies, any of you who have ever been on these apps, and I'm not saying the ones here have been on these apps, but certainly somebody watching this has been on these apps at some point, and you know who this character is. Now, chances are it's not somebody who's dressed as a clown. Although if it is, not gonna lie, that's kind of awesome. So with the nice guy, let's actually talk about the nice guy on the apps. All right, here's the deal. I love this character. I do. I really do. You go on these apps, and this is what I hear from all these women that I know who deal with these characters. A lot of men that I know deal with these characters too on some other apps. So what happens is these dudes will be the nicest people in the world, and they'll be the greatest gentlemen, and they'll be polite, and they'll be kind, and they'll be engaging, and they'll be accommodating. And they'll like, wow, what a nice guy. What a nice guy this is. And then he said, well, can I get your number? Can we take it to the next step? And then if you say, well, thank you, but I'm really not interested. I'm okay. Wish you well. Hope for the best. Not interested. I'm good. The fun clown turns into a killer clown instantaneously. Well, F you, ugly, this, blah, blah, blah. I never liked you anyway. You'll never get it. Like the way that fresh glass of milk, coming back to lactose intolerance, the way that fresh glass of milk turns sour in the blink of an eye is wild. It's wild. It's crazy how fast it turns, like really, really wild. So that's why it's in quotations. The nice guy on the apps is not a nice guy at all. This is not a nice guy at all. But what this card is saying, what this card symbolizes is how do we respond to rejection, and what does it do to us when we feel rejected? So this could be romantically rejected. It could be rejected for a job. It could be rejected for a consulting opportunity. It could be rejected in a friendship. It could be rejected in any kind of a way. What do we become in the face of that rejection? Now, what this is saying is that if you experience rejection of any kind, you are being called and invited to handle that rejection with grace and with dignity. Because otherwise, you turn like that sour milk and you become like the nice guy on the apps. And you go from a kind and accommodating person to this monster like in the blink of an eye. And then what that does is that poisons your soul. That poisons your spirit. And everything else becomes difficult. And then what happens, you start ingesting all this toxicity from other people who are like saying, yeah, you're right. Everything is against you. The world is screwed. You'll never find anybody. You'll never find a job. You'll never find a man. You'll never find out. All this toxicity starts coming in. And guess what? The more toxicity you take in, it starts stirring around and it becomes lactose intolerant, and it ain't good. It ain't good. You're on the bowl all night. Nobody needs that. So how do we get through it? And ultimately, what is the highest state to transcend all this? That's the real question to ask right now. Don't worry, Lynn. I got you. I got you. Something good is coming from this deck. You have a happy ending waiting for you, my friend. Promise you that. Promise you that. Let's see what we got. Okay. What is your Perfectian card? We have the 2 a.m. shawarma guy. Okay. It's a wonderful card. I love the 2 a.m. shawarma guy. There was a Turkish shawarma joint, and it was across the street from my favorite watering hole in New York. And this place even made its way into the Path to Perfectia book one. Little shameless plug. So this Turkish shawarma joint was a place that I freaking loved to go back in the day. Loved to go. And of course, when I was young, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., absolutely. This lovely gentleman over here is out there slicing the lamb off the spit, overnight. He could be doing anything else. He could be sleeping, could be driving a cab, could be running a multinational corporation. The guy could be doing anything. What is he doing? He's up at 2 o'clock in the morning, slicing lamb off the spit, and he's enthusiastic about doing it. He's loving his craft, and he's putting it in the pita, and he's putting all the hot sauce and the white sauce and all that good stuff on it, and he's feeding it to us, and it is soaking up all of our poison from that evening. It is soaking up our hangovers for the next day. We're all feeling like $1 million the next morning because of my guy right here who's doing the 2 a.m. shawarma lamb slicing, right? This card is the card of service. This is the card of joyful service. What this is saying, Lynn, what are you great at? How do you help people? What's your superpower? Lean into that. Lean into that. However you can help somebody this week. It's saying to get out of your own head, to get out of your own environment, to get out of your own thought process. Think about how you can help one person this week do one thing based on the thing that you're great at. And that could be anything. It could be something technical. It could be something career-wise. It could be something, you could just be a great listener. There could be something somebody needs to talk. That's it. And somebody you know is going through a hard time right now. Maybe they had a death in the family. You know, maybe they have gout. People go through a lot of stuff in life. You know somebody is going through a hard time, and you happen to be somebody who can really talk them off the ledge or just be a great ear. So whatever it is, whatever it looks like, this is just an invitation for you to step into that act of service. Because once you can step into that act of service, everything else will untie and open up. So like a whole nice guy in the apps thing. So if you're dealing with any kind of a rejection scenario, by stepping into the act of service, you're now helping others, helping others, helping others. You're getting out of your own, the world is against me. This, this happens, and it's not you, it happens to all of us. By doing that, by getting out of your own focal point of consciousness and out into the greater field, you loosen up those knots of this. And then suddenly, you know what? Something doesn't go your way. Doesn't turn like sour milk quite as fast. It's like, all right, well, that sucked, but on we go. And I'm going to help somebody else right now. And like the more you put out, the more comes back. And then when that happens, you'll be more conscious about the poisons and toxins that we're ingesting. Once you get in that act of service, you start untying the knots of like rejection dysphoria. You start getting into this place of, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be taking that in, or maybe that's not some great advice, or maybe I shouldn't be watching that, and I want to be in a better state. And this just kind of works itself out. So everything gets reverse engineered back up to the top. I'm not good with tech either. I'm always like five years behind, Lori, like legit. It's horrendous. Like I was the guy who didn't get on AOL until the late 90s when everybody was already on in the mid 90s. And then I'm still kind of fumbling my way through. I was the dude in 2012 who still had a BlackBerry. In 2012, I still had a BlackBerry. I feel you on this. I do. I see you. If anybody else is in the comments and wants a reading, let me know and hit me up. Otherwise, now I say this because we're on the live stream right now, so I'll do a live reading for you if you happen to be here. But if you're watching on Team Replay right now, I'll still do a reading for you. Just drop something in the comments and we'll fire up a few cards and see what is going on for you this week. But to recap for my friends here, for Lori, for Lynn, I love the two of you. I love you. I love you. And I want the best for you this week. You're going to have the best this week. Truly good stuff is coming. So I want to just think about the motifs that we've gone through, the Mystic of Myrtle Beach and the 2 a.m. shawarma guy. These are our highest states of consciousness that we are aiming towards this week. And these are good states of consciousness to be in. This is a state of consciousness of joy and service and of joyful presence. There's a motif of joy all the way through. What do we got here? Everybody else, the guy who beats himself at chess, great one too. Love your own company. Love your own company and meld them all together. Now, friends, I want you to take the card readings of both of them and work it into your own lives this week. So how do we have the Perfectian trio here of the Mystic of Myrtle Beach, the 2 a.m. shawarma guy, and the guy who beats himself at chess? How does this all tie together? First and foremost, you want to lean into just presence. Be the Mystic of Myrtle Beach. Just be this dude. That's it. You look around and you say, yeah, life is tough, but it's right where it has to be. I am right here, fully, totally, and on time. And I want to find joy in everything around me today. It could be great. It could suck. Doesn't matter. I'm going to find joy, intentional joy. I'm going to do that through service to others. I'm going to be slicing lamb off of that spit in the middle of the night. I'm going to be providing service to others, joyful service to others. And I'm going to love my own company as I do it. I'm not going to need anybody else's validation. I'm not going to need anybody else's approval. Guy who beats himself at chess doesn't need that. He's enjoying the game of life. And ultimately, friends, this is the greatest metaphor for the entire human existence. Do you want to talk esoteric? Let's talk esoteric. Okay. You want to talk about all of consciousness, shrinking itself down into your focal point as that one person to experience itself as you. What this cat's doing right here. And you are playing a game of chess with yourself as a fractal of the entire divine cosmos. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right, friends. It's been great. I love you all. Mwah. Have an amazing week. Ciao.